They tortured you within the plane or after you landed?
No, I told you
Or
that.
before?
From my arrest in Mitchell Hall in Makerere to the torture to the safe houses, as I said, those days people didn't know what they were. Will them go down, whatever the case, to re-emergence, to students wanting to strike because they're demanding for my release, to my being released and being started reported to the President's office on a daily basis, and then to my planning to escape. It was a long thing. But in the plane thing, of course, this guy came and recognized me, but I think because he had delayed the plane by more than 1 hour, so this NRA impunity did not start today. It started in 1986-87.
They are very punitive, in fact even more. That's the argument. Now, when I was looking at him, what did the UK do first? They want to copy only those that helped them. What did the UK do first? They first worked on their part as government. They gave good road networks. They put lights, no potholes. Then they put the cameras. For you who abandons all that and you drive recklessly, now they will penalize you because you have nothing to defend you.
I think as a country, the Ugandan citizen, and particularly the Ugandan African citizen, is on his own. And the Ugandan African citizen is on her own.
The Spy Uganda, the Spy Television, welcome aboard, welcome to another edition of the Spy of Andrew Rumba Live, and my name is Andrew Rumba Katsabe, with my elder brother, Comrade Joseph Ochieno, from the UPC. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here. I am delighted that the weather is fine,
the weather is fine.
And the spy is really spying
I'm sure
on the national
I'm sure one of the things you'd miss while you were in exile in the UK is the African weather, the Ugandan cuisine, the foods, the people. Because when you're here, you're enjoying the weather.
The weather particularly extremely important. Actually, when summer comes, which is sort of like from about now, the UK weather gets a little bit warmer, and time comes when sometimes July, particularly August, September, it can be hotter than it is in Kampala. But that heat is different. It can be this extreme heat, but there is no Kampala suburb fresh breeze like this. So no, it's just a different space. But also, as you rightly say, the food. Around the time I found myself in exile, it was very difficult. At the time,
You simply found yourself in exile.
I was chased into exile by these NRA bandits, but don't start me on that.
You planned it. You didn't find yourself in exile.
No. People who planned exile, those are people, recent Cheo people with whom I supported. We supported many Cheo people because we recognize that many people who are now coming out as economic exiles, in as long as life was hard, it was understandable that they should, and for those of us who understood this, we needed to be able to enable them as humanity. But for me, it was exile or no life. So I narrowly escaped. I don't know whether I've told your program my story, but my story was terrible. I have tested Museveni's basement. Now his son is talking about basement. I have tested Museveni's torture. His son is giving people Kawempe tortures. I've faced all those things. And I narrowly escaped. I beat 7 roadblocks. 7 roadblocks from Kampala to Entebbe. So if it's miracles, then a miracle happened for me that I managed to sneak through the immigration at the airport at the time and sneak into then Uganda Airlines plane, which Museveni has since destroyed and sent, either sent them to Congo, wherever, I don't know.
He has destroyed or he has actually revamped?
I don't know what has been revamped because I don't know what the ownership is, but even if it's now revamped, whatever the case, he basically killed Uganda Airlines, and the cost of that must be discussed within the contracts of this week's budget.
Okay.
But more importantly, I want to say that in the plane, I narrowly missed being pulled out of the plane. Because before the takeoff, the last passenger to board was a senior military officer who recognized me as a student at then Makerere University. So he was one of those guys who did the torturing and interrogations. So it's a bit of a story for another day. Yeah.
They tortured you within the plane or after you landed?
No, I told you that.
Before?
From my arrest in Mitchell Hall in Makerere to the torture to the safe houses, as I said, those days people didn't know what they were. Will them go down, whatever the case, to re-emergence, to students wanting to strike because they're demanding for my release, to my being released and being started reported to the President's office on a daily basis, and then to my planning to escape. It was a long thing. But in the plane thing, of course, this guy came and recognized me, but I think because he had delayed the plane by more than 1 hour, so this NRA impunity did not start today. It started in 1986-87.
Yeah.
So partly because of that, the other passengers saved me. Yeah.
Okay, fine. We just passed there as by there was an introductory part
Indeed.
of your, because most people don't know your history in Ochieno.
No.
They think the basement of Mos just started yesterday.
That's correct, yeah.
So I called you this morning to talk about three things. One is the increasing express penalty on our roads. I would want to pick your 1 cent or 2. And then the other one is the overall analysis of the State of the Nation address that the President did last Thursday. And then tomorrow's State of budget reading, tomorrow, Thursday. I will begin with the traffic. What do you make of the current situation? Many Ugandans are crying of the high penalties, the short period within what you must pay the penalties, and many argue that actually this is in bad faith. There are many aspects as causes of road accidents on our roads. These penalties are not looking at those causes. They are simply looking at how more they can extract from Ugandans. I will begin with this, Mr. Ochieno, and you will, I think, extract your argument from there. When we are looking at the reduction of accidents on our roads, we should be looking at the major causes. You look at the big problem, and then you find a solution. So what is the biggest contributor of accidents on our roads? The police report of the latest report released, 2024 report, traffic. This is what Uganda police said. Borders or motorcycles, because when you say borders, it may only refer to people who use motorcycles to do business, commercial. So they said borders, in bracket, motorcycles, are by far the most dangerous segment in Uganda's road safety picture, both in terms of causing accidents and being victims. Causing accidents, because when you're causing it, you're also going to become a victim.
Yeah.
Here is what the 2024 Uganda Police Traffic Report says about them. Uganda Police Report, 2024. Border involvement in accidents. Fatalities involving borders 2024 equal to 1,720 riders who were killed. That is a 13.2% increase from 2023. And at least 614 passengers on borders also died. The passengers on borders. 600. Imagine Mr. Ochieno bring 600 people, put them here, and you see the number. But Uganda doesn't seem to really take a keen interest. Somebody, if you killed one person here, you kill one person here, to make a huge statement, to be a scandal. In Kenya right now, there is an activist who was picked up by police and killed in the cells in Kenya here. One person, the whole world is ablaze. Now, I wanted to look at an incident where a motorcycle causes death of 614 passengers, and Uganda is okay. We are moving on nevertheless. That totals to 2,000. Now listen, this one was 614, but that death totals contributes to 2,334 deaths directly linked the border borders 2024. Fatalities linked to border borders 2,334. If you're in politics and you have a difference against your competitor of 2,334, you are the president of Uganda. You're the president automatically. So those voters were killed in 2024. And we are only now talking about fatalities caused by border. We have not talked about any other thing. Now, that contributes to over 45% of all road fatalities. All road fatalities, there were 5,000. The 5,144. 5,144 overall. But border contributes 45%. Thousands of serious and minor injuries. Borders are consistently linked to high rates of severe trauma, especially head injuries. Crash contribution. What the borders contribute to heads crash contribution. Well, borders are not always the primary cause. They are involved in a large portion of crashes. Every third or fourth crash involves a motorcycle. Motorcycles, now the police is breaking down. Motorcycles are causing these accidents because most of them are not trained. Number one. The police is not telling us. Number two, they ride without helmets. Number three, they ride recklessly. Police is the one saying. Number four, overloading, carrying more than one passenger or goods unsafely. Number five, high urban density, especially in Kampala. Borders dominate traffic flow and operate chaotically. This is a police report. Now, Mr. Ochieno, the same police that is enforcing penalties is not looking for a solution for this problem of border. They extract the money. Right now the target is on the cars. Motorists. If you go and check in their records right now, it is not the biggest number of borders that have been fined. It is the biggest number of motorists that have been fined. Those with cars. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
But here they have told you the biggest problem is what? Is border. While they are stopping that car to stop so that they fine it, a border man is riding on one way.
Yeah.
And the police officer is seeing him, but his mind is stopping the other one. So now, when you tell me that you have brought express penalty, you have increased the penalty fee in order to curb accidents, Mr. Ochieno, to me, maybe you're talking to another person, not to me. If you're telling me that, you're insulting my intelligence.
What is the next set of cause that the police say?
The next set should be cars. The cars now.
Then after the cars? Did they say anything else?
No, I need to get it. I don't extract it.
Fair enough, yes.
So accidents are on water transport. Water. You hear a whole boat has what? Has sunk. Pedestrians are rammed into, mainly by motorcycles first, but also by cars. So if we are looking for a solution, we first deal with the biggest cause of accidents. Number one, actually the second cause, biggest cause is not even motorists. It is the road network. Road networks.
I thought you were going to refer to that. Yeah.
Yes. Road networks. I remembered it, though it is not here. I remember road network. Police itself, the police report. Road network. How? Mr. Ochieno, when you go to Dubai here, you find 4 lanes are taking, another 4 lanes are bringing. There is no way these cars moving on opposite direction are going to meet, because the biggest contributors of fatal accidents are head-on collision.
Yes.
Now, you have already solved over 80% of fatal accidents by simply creating a one-way, 4 lanes, or even 2. For the case of Uganda, you can even create 2 lanes, but 1 way, and another 2 lanes, 1 way. You will have reduced fatal accidents by 80%. You get the point? Now,
sorry.
no problem. Now, the Uganda country as a whole government, they are not concerned about working on their bit of the blame. Narrow road. No, they have no plan. Now, the other cause, this is a narrow road, but on top of that, it is potholed.
Yeah.
If it was narrow but it clean, it would maybe say it's okay. It is narrow, small, and potholed.
Potholed and dark.
And dark. Very good. Very good. Now, on top of that, narrow, potholed, dark. Here comes the users of the road. Number one, there is a car from my side. There is a big truck. These trailers that ply from a port of Mombasa to Congo and Rwanda and so on. First of all, those trucks will not be passing here. They'll be passing via Lake Victoria. So that lack of water infrastructure, transport, contributes to accidents here. Government is not looking at its part, at its contribution. They are looking at me. Because these so many trucks that cause accidents and jam here would be from the port of Mombasa. They are taking fuel, which is even a very big risk on our roads. It would be using water transport. Up to Tanzania, up to Rwanda, up to Congo. You get? No, they are here. So now, I'm competing with my car against a truck, against a border who is very stupid. That one is acceptable. Very stupid and hopeless. Very uneducated, very uncultured, unruly. He has no driving permit. He has never even understood that there is a requirement for you to go to a driving school to acquire a driving permit or a riding permit. He doesn't even know that one exists. So he's very stupid, but we are with him on the road. On that road, if you are flying up country, you have gone to your village. Your village is Mulanda? Nagongera. You'll find the tethered cows along the road, and goats and hens. And then that part of Tirinyi Mbale, you'll even find a part of the road has been cut off for cassava roasting.
Yeah.
Hey, they are drying their cassava. So once you reach there, you have to negotiate. Now, a car, my car, a truck, those are 2, a cow, those are 3, a goat, those are 4, a stupid border, those are 6, a hen, those are 7. That is on one lane, on one side. Another side, the same. So those are 14 things competing to pass against each other, Mr. Ochieno. 14 users of that narrow road, the potholed road, against each other. When an accident happens, Uganda government, instead of looking what is the problem that we need to do, we as government, they realize that they will not manage to do it by expanding the road. They look for the simplest excuses. You know what that is? Reckless driving. You must drive your car at 30 km per hour going to Nagongera from Kampala. As if Ochieno, you have no program in Nagongera. So they are saying you should leave at 3 a.m. going to Nagongera for an appointment of 1 p.m. So, Mr. Ochieno, government, the next time is coming to collect taxes from you. The taxes will reduce because your workforce is literally reduced. Because if you have an appointment in Nagongera, Ochieno, there is nothing else you should do for those 2 days. 1 day driving and attend, another day coming back. You can no longer hustle. But remember, you know how economy, you know how we survive.
No, 2.5 days.
Yes.
Because you have to spend the night driving.
Yes.
Because you can't reach that night.
So, that's what they don't see the bigger impact. Now, they realize that they have failed on their mandate. Because we are supposed to have very good road network, free of potholes. We are supposed to have wide roads, and we're supposed to have roads devoid of darkness. There is solar power now, very cheap. You get it? And it is not that Uganda doesn't have the money to do those things. No, they actually collect that money from us. They go and design a road with 4 lanes. They end up doing 2. They eat the other 2 lanes. Now, that same person who ate the other 2 lanes the other day is on enforcing now the law, charging you Ochieno. You see the problem of Uganda? I have seen some stupid man on NBS last night saying, no, but even other countries, this is a member of parliament from Jinja there. But you see, Uganda is not the first to implement that. Almost countries do that. You have to, the penalties are very punitive. You can even go to, if you go to UK right now, they are very punitive. In fact, even more. That's the argument. Now, when I was looking at him, what did the UK do first? They want to copy only those that help them. What did the UK do first? They first worked on their part as government. They gave good road networks. They put lights, no potholes. Then they put the cameras. For you who abandons all that and you drive recklessly, now they will penalize you because you have nothing to defend you. You have no excuse. The road is wide enough. You get it? The tarmac is clean, no potholes. The light is good. So why would you know? It means you are reckless, or your car had a mechanical problem, and they will ascertain that. Here we have abandoned all that. We have run for the quickest one. Reckless driving and overspeeding. We charge you. So they are beginning from the last point instead of beginning from the first. So that has been my problem. I don't know whether this looks a problem to you as well.
It's a national crisis.
We fail to do what they're supposed to do as government, then we want to blame other people. You are shifting blame. By the way, Ugandans are very good drivers. If you took, there is a German man who came here, and he saw how I was driving him. He said, oh my God, my friend, you're a good driver. I can't even dare drive in Kampala roads. I can't dare. That's what he told. When he saw how borders are, a stupid border is passing on my left. He's supposed to overtake from the right. He's overtaking from the left. But I have to take care of him anyway. Then another one who is overtaking from the right direction on the right side, I also have to take care of him. I have to see this stupid one on the left overtaking me. I have to see the other one on the right side, and then I have to maintain. Then in front I have to maintain the other car ahead of me. Then I have to maintain the other car behind me. Then I have to maintain the other car coming opposite my direction. You find that your head, Mr. Ochieno, by the time you leave Kisas to Kampala, your head is overworked. You are tired already. When the German saw me, what I was doing, he said, oh my God. So they can't believe. You get, because in their roads, one lane will be for borders. So you don't have a lot of stress to stretch yourself. Another lane will be, you know, for those driving 180, 200 kilometers per hour going up country. Then another one will be for us who are, you know, now here, everything is katogo. Then you blame somebody. Instead of first doing the first thing first. Let me listen to you.
Now, Andrew, I don't know what you want to hear from me. You having exhausted this as well as that. Except to say that I think as a country, the Ugandan citizen, and particularly the Ugandan African citizen, is on his own. And the Ugandan African citizen is on her own. The extent to which government, if I can call it government, it's quite clearly the regime, is using, abusing, exploiting, punitively treating their own citizens is criminal, is unimaginable. I want to tell you that when it comes to the question of accidents, I have personal stories. And Andrew, get me? I have a major tragic story in my family.
Yes. I heard about it.
I have a very major tragic story in my family. One. Number two, But even before I go to truth, purely on the basis of that, I should be amongst the few Ugandans and Ugandan families whose job it is, and I told some journalists that I want to be part of the campaign for road safety. So road safety is very emotionally, emotively, and very practically attached to me an experience.
Because you lost a family.
Number two, I also have very close, narrow tragedy that something on the borders, something and trisexual, but particularly one where I had a member of my family not been wearing a helmet. It was going to be a terrible tragedy as a result of the carelessness we talk about. But again, in that particular incident, there were fatalities on the other side. But I must say, the member of my family was completely, again, a victim. Sensible riders versus the people you call stupid on the other side. And those guys were many on the bike, reckless, and there was a loss of life in that incident. So number two. Number three, if you refer to Sudhir's son, whom you happen to know as a friend, I didn't know him.
A close buddy,
yes. Rajiv. Rajiv, I don't know, was Rajiv named after Rajiv Gandhi? Or just coincidentally they shared the names? Did you know Rajiv Gandhi?
No.
Rajiv Gandhi was India's prime minister, son of, the other Gandhis from the Gandhis.
Mahatma Gandhi?
Yeah, grandson of Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi was... they are not buried, but his remains were...
Yes. So...
source of the Nile.
So Rajiv is Gandhi was son of Indira Gandhi, who was a prime minister in the 80s. Rajiv became prime minister, and both of them were assassinated. So interesting stuff from the India's Congress Party. So those are our sister parties. But even then, Indira Gandhi as prime minister in the 80s. I'm not deviating you because lest we forget. That's how the Rajiv thing just comes to my mind. Indira was a good friend of Milton Obote, as sister parties, but of course we have an Asian history in this country, and so meaning an Indian relationship. And so when Obote went on an official visit, a state visit to India, I think it was 83 or 84. Apparently, when they reached Delhi as a delegation, Indira decided privately to host them, and people need to be able to know this, to privately host them apart from the official dealings, but everything else as her personal guests, not state guests. Meaning, therefore, the Ugandan High Commission and all our other expenses now became the burden of
the person.
Of the person. In fact, I think it was official visit, not state visit, because state visit, I'm told that after that, on their return, because we're going to discuss this economics-related stuff, Obote instructed his backroom team that, you guys, we were hosted by my friend, Indira. So that means that we did not spend.
Hey, so where is our money?
No, our money must go back to the treasury. Yes, our money must go back to the treasury.
Hey.
Oh yes. So
this man was so interesting.
Since we talk about this mess about Ugandans being taken for,
he knew that the host had spent on them, so they didn't sleep in hotel. They didn't buy food.
It was clear, yes.
So the money you had taken for that,
that's right. So he said no, yes. And he said, look, you guys, we've been hosted privately by my friend Indira. Yeah, whatever it is,
bring back the money.
Treasury. Now,
did they do so?
Of course they did. I also have another story, but this is not a deviation, my brother. We are Pan-Africans, so we are brethren here, and our job is to discuss and to share and to learn and to unlearn, to learn between ourselves, but to help unlearn ourselves, but also to encourage you guys to unlearn some of the negatively learned stuff, because sometimes we think that
we think what we know is the truth.
Yes, and sometimes we also think that what we are talking about is impossible. You know, including what we ask of our leaders. No, it has never happened in this country, and it's also possible. Accountability. So there is a surviving Karamojong friend who was part of the Obote 2 government. You know, one of the part of the security of the presidential escort unit, which would be equivalent to PGB. He tells me one time of how the monies that would be taken to State House and money that would remain, that Obote would seek for the counting of that money and instruct and use security, physical money, to take money to Bank of Uganda now.
Take it back.
Yeah, take it back. Accountability. And then also including how the thing was receipting. I need to go back to it. So yeah, but this guy's around. And he said he did it, meaning as part of the security escort thing, to make sure that there is evidence that
money has been
banked and taken back to Bank of Uganda, and there is evidence money is receipted and accounted for in this country. Anyway, so Rajiv gets killed. An accident. Rajiv rams onto a road, partly because of signage.
Sinagongera Road.
So, as the campaign for tamaking Nagongera Road, increases, then there's a bridge on Nagongera Road in Rubongi by the military barracks, for those who've been to Nagongera or Chororo. The bridge gets cut off, and there's a bridge that they're trying to build. The contractor stops. I even had to meet Alan Kajina.
Alan Kajina.
Yes, before UNRWA was closed. Yes, and then Alan, to my surprise, meaning our leaders, very fantastic lady, and very courteous in our office. And I met her with the directors. But surprise, it's only when one of our directors came that she got to know that the work on the particular bridge at Rubongi, meaning Nientoro, Rubongi Barracks, had stopped, and that the contractors had a dispute over money, But anyway, so partly because now this thing was high profile, and she told me that, the previous week she had been in a meeting with Museveni and I think some of the lead political leaders from Tororo to discuss this road, this issue. The focus was now on the road. And so they were now maintaining it with Maram, because the road used to be very bad. So So now, these guys, in putting Maram, those heaps of Maram they put on the roadside, they should put that during the day and level it up. But even in the course of that, do markings, the roadworks ahead, things like that. So apparently, these guys put the Maram, literally predominantly most of the main road. They did not put a signage, and this was me about, I think, 9 o'clock, 9:30.
And they didn't level it down.
They didn't level it down. And so I was driving on a normal Maram road, of course, these things with dust and everything else, borders ahead of you. And I came and I ramped on the Maram. But if you'll see my car there, my car is still looking crooked. It was closed.
How long is this?
No, this is last year. Just I think about 3 months before the UNRWA guys closed, The truth is, had I been driving excessively, had possibly my car not been relatively new, had I also not been reasonably belted, and by some good luck, as I said, this car rams on the Maram and comes up there, meaning an extra jump of Maram and Dam,
you were gone.
The car was going to overturn. And over time,
it went up and remained there.
It only went up and remained, thankfully not to the level of going, but sort of at that. And the impact was huge. I was physically sick for 3 weeks, including my leg. So point is, that is how close I was to this. Now, thankfully, that was Maram. But Maram, with its own impact and at the pace of my car, it could also still have been worse if you go this. But somehow it came and it went this. So if it is direct, major impact, even if it was Maram, that is still serious impact. my own personal experience. So imagine that sense of responsibility. Now, back to the main.
Before you go to the main, I can also give you my own experience. For you got it on Maram. Me got it on the highway. When you're going to Fort Poto, here after the city here, there's a place called
road?
Mitiana Road.
Mitiana Road, yes.
Mitiana Fort Poto, Muvende Road.
Yeah.
There's a place called the after Sega. There's a place in the valley. Forgetting its name. I'm forgetting its name in the valley there. What is it? So at night, police put a roadblock there. It's a full-time roadblock there. So at night, around the 4, 5 there, 3, 4, 5, that valley, because it's a valley, it creates mist.
Yes,
when it has rained, the mist is so much.
Yes.
It's really like a cloud, and it hovers over your what? Over your glass. So I was driving. I had not even yet anticipated that I had arrived at that roadblock. And this roadblock, there was no signage.
That roadblock ahead or something.
That warns you that there is what? There is a roadblock. There was no signage. The signage, the small signage that was there, was at the exact roadblock. You get it? That stop, it is attached to the
this barrier.
Yeah. So when I saw it, I had arrived on the what? On the barrier. At night, police is supposed even to put their police patrol or some lights.
Yes.
Some lights doing like so that you see it from afar.
Yes.
They don't do it so that they hide. For them, they want to hide because their mindset is making money. Make a mistake so that they make money. If you realize, most of our traffic police officers on the road are not a deterrent. They are punitive. They hide. Have you realized this?
That's correct.
A police officer hides in the corner so that you come, you bump into him, then he stops you. And he stops you at a very short distance. In the law, a police officer is supposed to stop you at 500 at most, 500 meters at most.
Yeah.
These ones can even stop you at 10 meters. They stop. Why? He was hidden. So their mindset is a corrupt mindset, because they want you to commit as many offenses as possible so that they make as much money as possible. So even this, the express penalty they have brought, their mind, 98%, is tuned to how much more they will be able to collect.
That's correct.
I'm sure even the bosses are now laughing it, because more money is flowing in. You get it? They are not minding about the status of the real Ugandan. You find a taxi driver who probably makes 50,000 a day off after paying all his bills. Maybe he goes with 50 home. You have charged him 600,000, and you want him to pay it in 72 hours. That person is going to stop their job because he will no longer be working, but finally will not die of hunger. No, he will go to steal. That person will go to steal. No man can die of hunger in the bed. Do you know that? He can even jump off a fence.
Yeah.
Even if you have dogs, that man will jump over the fence to steal food. So, the point I was bringing to you is that they are not looking at what is the real problem. They're looking at how can we make more money from. So you can continue.
Yeah, so in any case, that's sort of a contextual background. So I'm saying in principle, these are accidents. Then you come through to my own lived experience. But from the submissions you're making,
remember the place called Bulenga.
Bulenga. Yeah.
Bulenga.
So part of what the police ought to do is what the Ministry of Works ought to do, and is what the government ought to do. Meaning to mitigate and remedy road accidents.
Yes.
That's the point you're making. Now, before anything and everything else is done, address potholes, address road signage,
Address the border.
Granted, address the border. I was coming to the border last, actually.
Okay.
Address the road infrastructure. Now, the bit that you've omitted are two critical ones. I only drive to Nagongera because this regime has killed our trains.
You'll be
when I was growing up, the train from Kampala to Nagongera is 2.5 hours. Now that's an ordinary passenger train. Now why would I need to drive to Nagongera via Tororo and via Tirinyi and back?
And spend even more hours.
And spend not only more hours, but actually part of the traffic you did not even talk about is between here and Mukono. Mukono will take you 3 hours from Nigeria, or 3 hours from Kisasi. Why? And then spend more than 20 times the amount of money. For me, my job would be to do this interview with you in a train, on a business class, in a train, which existed. Our train had the ordinary class, then they had what they call second class, which would be the business class, and first class. So the business class is a two-seater, and we've got a car with a buffet facility. Buffet in a train.
Are you talking of a government in Uganda? Or
government in Uganda
Dubai?
That NRA came and found and broke. And I sat in those trains, which trains don't exist. So meaning that I could, as a family, book the 4-seater car for myself, and maybe my daughter or my children, my grandson, who are two friends of ours, and we read, we talk, we have newspaper conversation, and we go. Not on the road. What will we have done? We'll have saved
money.
We'll have money. We'll have secured been off decongested the road.
You're decongesting.
We've secured
the road.
Yes, we've knocked off the environmental issue, the fumes that we're doing on the car, taken away the stress from ourselves.
You have also reduced the accidents, because an accident that would happen on your car, it won't happen.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because a train in the bush is going to meet which other train without communication.
No, they don't.
They're not going
in fact, they're rarely there.
Yeah.
But also, finally, now that is passenger travel. One of the other most common are the ones you talk about, the trailers. Head-on stuff, many of them are trailers and trucks, and they sugar things. You know what? Goods trains. So the trucks going to Congo, they should be taking goods starting from Kasese. And the rail network, which UPC had designed way back in 1984, again, there's actually a staff for the way the train planned for the train to go to Kisoro. In the 80s, before NRM came, there's a plan for us to extend the rail network up to Kisoro. Snaking through those hills. Actually, very nice design I've seen. I think maybe I lost that, but a very nice design. So meaning by today, we should be having a train that goes to Katuna. So if a train is going to Katuna, the goods to Rwanda and Congo should predominantly be via trains. Number two, even today at today's rate, the cost of freight, meaning carrying goods from Mombasa
by
to Kampala by road,
so huge,
is higher by nearly 60%.
Yeah.
So it's common sense economics. So it's good we are discussing this, because part of the conversation is that tomorrow is budget day. So if you put it from that perspective, you see the things that government ought to do before committing some of these criminal things against the citizens. Now, finally, if the roads had been done, the railways had been done, the public service, which is the other one, the public service buses were there. You also know about the buses that we had and we have. So if you really have bus services between Busega, and they used to be there, between Busega and Kampala City, you not have the congestion, these things that you have on Hoima Michana Road. But number two, from Busega to Mbende, if there may be the buses that are going per hour kind of stuff, you'll have reduced traffic again by maybe 30% first, but most importantly, narrowed accident rates by over 90%. Minimize accidents, that's what you do. Now, as recent as 20 years ago, it might be a long time, I think about 23 years ago, there was a time when Kampala had about three street lights. Did you know that? Once upon a time, there's a street light in Mandege. So these things have changed. Granted, traffic lights.
Yes.
So to their base, there are now many. But once upon a time, as recent as 20 years ago, Kampala had no more than 5 traffic lights. You know? So in the absence of that, do you know what government did? They decided to bring police. So police have been removed from policing
To traffic lights.
So now you realize we have traffic police is now a replacement to road construction, rail construction,
Traffic lights.
and managing people's ego, including your bad border borders. Police officers. To the extent that actually one of the other things that you see in Kampala today is you find a 3-star officer on the road.
3-star.
Yeah.
Doing what?
So why would the senior police officer, what would we be doing on the roadside? Managing traffic. These are people whom we send to school, trained, educated as senior officers. These are supposed to be law enforcement people who should be able to help us, detection and prevention of crime, and law enforcement. But they're managing traffic things down the corner. Why? Because somebody has failed in their priorities. And so, finally then, these guys are doing this because, just like what they're doing with the Uganda Revenue Authority, just like what they're doing with many other agencies, it's now an opportune moment. If it's not Pineti, if it's not Rocco, if it's not some dubious woman in Atiak, get some strange, dubious Chinese, Russian man, come and
pretend,
literally steal money from people. I have argued that even mainstream companies like MTN, use their name for these purposes, these are foreign companies. I have told people that when I go, and I'm saying this deliberately, wherever you go in a big company and they don't have Momo, demand for Momo. Meaning that already these companies make a huge amount of profit per every transaction. And then you've got a petrol station and they don't have Momo. And because they don't have Momo, every transaction I've got to make, I'm charged, 1. But 2, it means MTN makes extra money from the single transaction. All these are profits that are repatriated to MTN shareholders in South Africa, sucking from the Ugandan economy. Now, what maybe a Ugandan finance minister who's an expert in flying Mabatis like Asaja, what he doesn't know is that every time I lose 18,000 Uganda shillings for a tax out of $1 million I would have had, 18,000 shillings that is taken from me in tax is money less for me to spend on the economy. Now, if that money, 18,000 shillings, goes to MTN, that money is going to South Africa. That money is not going to go into Ugandan economy. Now, granted, the 18th, so
they bring it back through the huge taxes they pay.
Precisely.
Because they're the biggest. They are one of the biggest payers.
Then now, but even then, it is just wrong. If MTN was Irumba Uganda Limited, born and bred in Fort Portal, and that money is for Irumba and the family empire, not a problem. General. For us, a paragraph simply say that Irumba, let's have a little bit of a redistributive tax so that you pay slightly much more.
We live in,
kind of
we have accepted that we live in a global village. I'm sure when you go to South Africa, you have lived in Exile. How do you think the money is to accommodate you? Do business, live there, educate?
No, that's not true. I totally agree with you that we live in a global village. But there is no country, the most capitalist country in the world, the most globally village capitalist profit-driven economy in the world is the US, America. I don't know how many people, businesses can come from Uganda and go and do what Pineti has done in America. None.
Pineti is doing in Uganda?
No. I don't know anybody who can go and do an MTN in America. No. Global village, we agree that yes, you repatriate profit. And this is interesting, you raise that point. To reach an extent in which a sensible government, unless they've got another agenda, can design, like we're discussing traffic and penalties, that you have, as you said, we have the cameras, we have the roads, we have the citizens, we have the everything else. So you get some Russian guy who comes, puts an equipment that is just going to test your speed.
Just puts a chimp.
And it gets 80%. 80%. And government takes 20%. And the rest, meaning nearly 20%, remains with government and other parts of the economy.
You know,
is somebody sleeping or somebody awake? Is that the global village you were talking about? Would it happen in Russia?
But
no, it can't.
You think, Mr. Ochieno?
Yeah.
This is not a Russian. Because there is no sense. All Ugandans are educated now working in the government. They have PhDs, masters, and so on. This is not a Russian. You know, first.
Are you saying this is a mafia?
Yeah. You know, first. They brought. They brought these digital number plates.
Yes.
The Russian company, whom they gave this contract, literally has never done any such business in any country. Not even in his own country, Russia. He's not there. But when he came here, government signed with him a contract that allows him to collect money from us for 10 years. For a chimp as cheap as 20,000 that they insert in a number plate. You see these phones? Yeah, let me even leave phones because they are more complicated.
A bit advanced, yes.
You know, these people who give boda on loans. These bodas on loan.
Yeah.
They have a truck. That truck can locate where their boda is. That truck is not even 40,000 shillings. So that is the same technology
yes,
that they used to put in the digital number plates. But the man is charging the country quite heavy amounts of money, and they have given him a leeway to collect for 10 years. That money he's collecting, they are saying he's paying it back himself for 10 years. But I can tell you, he has not invested that amount of money. The money is going to collect from us in 10 years. He will have made about 150 times profit by the time he leaves. And there is a possibility of him not leaving. You know why? Now you have seen that he has brought another system of tracking this speed limit. So this is a system that's going to be on. So before the 10 years, there is something else that will happen. So these people are just stealing. If you realize in the parliament, on the parliament floor, and just in the mainstream media, the people who were defending this technology, I don't know whether you followed very
much, but yeah.
So
I'm too annoyed to pay much. Yeah, but anyway.
So if you look, Mr. Ochieno, just go and do a random. I know you're a very wise man. Just go and do a random calculation. How many cars enter in Uganda every day at our border points? First begin with the cars, the number of cars we have here internally. Charge them. They say 710,000. Charge them that money. Add on the cars that are imported every day in Uganda. Charge each car that money. Now combine all the amount of money times 10 years. After that, now get the borders. The population of borders in CBD Kampala is even becoming bigger than the human population. Yes. You're going to find 3 people. No. You're going to find 3 borders, 1 human being.
No.
3 borders, 1 human being. Now, I wanted to look at that charge, 150,000 per border. Those that are already here, they are already residents here. Then look at the entry point of all the Ugandan borders. See how many borders are paying that digital number plate. Get that figure. Now consider the 10-year period. Merge it together and see whether we are doing business. You see, it's simple. When we are doing business, it must be win-win situation.
Yeah. No, I think...
but this is not business. This is something else.
Yeah, and that's why I called it theft. I think what we need to do as a country is Ugandan citizens need to wake up. They need to realize that
we are not asleep. I'm here. I'm
they
looking.
need to be taken for granted.
I'm here.
You're not asleep at all.
Yeah.
You don't need to wake up. That's one of the reasons why you're hosting me. But Ugandans need to wake up and realize they're being taken for right, and they've been taken for right for 40 years. I think this is one of the spaces that would require what you can call mini uprising, and basically simply Ugandans saying, no, we're not going to pay this. It is also shocking that this thing comes, they go on the floor of Parliament, they debate it, and then say legislation tomorrow. These are some of the very major policy issues which should come in almost as political party manifestos. At least a political party should say that, if elected, at our next Parliament, we plan to do this. And then you go around with it and make it as part of your campaign program, and let citizens debate and have these conversations, and then decide whether or not they're going to vote for you as a political party. That is actually going
based on that.
Based on
the traffic law.
Yeah, because those are some of the things that is actually how politics happens around the world.
So if the law is streamlined, the party will also.
No, you know what? In democracies, things to do with interest rates, things to do with taxation, things to do like with these things about road traffic legislations, things to do with the age limit, term limits, environmental tax. These are major policy decisions that should be part of manifesto commitments by political parties that are debated and determined. And so you don't come with it towards the end of Parliament and say we put this thing and then sneak it.
Okay, my brother, tell me.
Yeah.
I want us to end this first segment with. I just want to add something. Another problem I've seen on the roads. Now, this stupid man I saw in NBS who was talking about. After all, it is also happening in the UK.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that UK did first was to put the camera infrastructure to remove the human contact. Here they have put these cameras. It is a police officer stopping you and charging you. Now, if you know the corruption rate in these police officers. So in the UK, you will not argue with the camera, and the camera will not tell lies about you. But here with these human beings on the road, they can say, Mr. Ochieno, you have been driving 70% per kilometer per hour, and you are not educated to you even fear to argue with him. You can argue, but I want you to look at that person in the village, that he can argue the police officer, that you are lying. They have ever done it to somebody. They tell you have driven this much, but actually they are not. It is not true, and they don't allow him to look into the.
That's why my view is that. Sorry to interrupt you. My view genuinely is that right now, one of the things that the citizens need to do is people need to mobilize against bad road networks, against road safety issues and deaths, against borders, but at the same time also against this bad law, and becomes a public thing that people go ahead and line up in front of Parliament and say this thing needs to be reviewed. And that needs to be led by responsible political parties and political party leaders, including the likes of Ochieno, myself, activists and journalists like yourselves, and environmental and human rights activists. I think that's one of the things we need to do. We basically need to campaign and get citizens to refuse to cooperate with this, because that is really the only pullback we're going to be able to have.
The other problem I saw, I was investigating some corruption of the traffic police on the road. I counted 28 roadblocks from Malaba to Kampala. And I interviewed, especially these truck drivers, these charcoal drivers, these truck drivers. They tell you, on every roadblock, you must leave money. It doesn't matter the condition of your car, it doesn't matter whether you have a driving license or not. Well, even if everything on you is correct, you have to leave money. If you don't, they can tell you to park your car there as they investigate, and you take a whole day there. 28 roadblocks. So imagine that truck driver, the charcoal driver driving his charcoal to come and sell in Kampala. You are paying money on 28 police roadblocks. They are making the cost of doing business in Uganda using their roads expensive. So among the things that Uganda government should be looking at is to remove traffic police officers from the road. Let the driver deal with the camera.
I started this interview by telling you and telling fellow citizens that you are alone. We're basically on our own. So the issue here, you cannot ask government to ask the police officers to do that when the government is possibly the police officer.
Well, the first segment of this show is ending here. Comrade Ochieno, we are coming back in the second episode. My name is Andrew Irumba Katusaba, and the name of the show is Andrew Irumba Live, and this is The Spy Uganda, The Spy Television Detective UG. On 30th August, we have the Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards, which will be the 8th edition of the awards. And we shall also be celebrating our 11th anniversary dinner at Fair. Make sure you get yourself a dinner card. These dinner cards, we have them. You can actually reach out to us via our mobile phones, or we can even send you an e-card on your phone. The moment you get to us, we will be able to send you your e-card. Make sure you be part of this 8th Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards. Joshua Maponga from Zimbabwe is already organizing his notes right now. Ayoki Mathi from USA is organizing his notes. Dr. Waka Waka from Chicago, US is organizing his notes. They'll be here. We shall be converging here as Pan-Africans. Andrew Irumba Live.